Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this recording or this major scales assignment real quick. And here's what I have pulled up. I have the slide from the class this morning pulled up, which has C, C sharp, D. It has basically one octave of piano keys to help me build my scale. And I also have the whole note, or the major scale pattern written above it, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, which of course refers to the intervals or the jumps. Remember, a whole step or a half step is the distance between each of these keys. So you can follow my mouse. Boom, 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 right? A whole step is skipping a note, no matter where you're at. So if you're at E and you have to skip for a whole step, you'd end up at F sharp. So the first note we're building, the first scale I should say we're building is an A major scale. So we're doing it all in quarter notes. So the nice thing is we just have to pick a quarter note, right? So remember, yours looks a little bit differently, but the tools are going to be the same. You're going to go to Smart Entry tool, right? Click that, and you're going to click the quarter note. And here your accidentals you're going to need, a sharp, a flat. Those are the two you're really going to need to work with. So here's how I like to do it. In class, I said that a scale has to have every single letter name. It has to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You can't have two of the same letters in the scale. So here's what I'm going to start with. Just to make it easy, I can have at least the base. I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay, if you play that back, that's not going to sound like a major scale. That's actually a minor scale, and we're not going to get into that too much. But just know that your work is not done. You have the basic framework done for you. You have A to A built. Okay? So we have to check it, though. We have to check to make sure we have the right intervals. So if I go to my piano over here, and I have to follow my pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, well, we can check to see if our notes are correct. So we start on A, that's our scale. We have to go up and we have to do, the first interval we have is a whole step. So A, a whole step up is B. Well, that's correct because it skips a note in between. So that is correct. So we have the first note, A to B, that first interval is good to go. Okay, so we'll cross that off. Our next interval we have is a whole step. So we're on the note B, right? So B, a whole step up from B would put us on this black key, right? So that same key is over here, just it got cut off. So if we look over here, B, we have to skip over C because we need a whole step. So we have a choice of C sharp or D flat. Well, if we look over at our finale file, the next note we have to have is a C because C comes after B. So it has to be C sharp. So here's how we do this. We select the quarter note tool, make sure it's still selected. You shouldn't have unselected. We click the sharp symbol now, which looks like the hashtag or the pound sign. We go over to where our C is, and we know the C should not be a C natural, but a C sharp. So we just click on it, right on top of it. Don't click above it or to the right of it or below it. You have to click right on top, and it replaces that C with the C sharp. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So we did a C, we did a whole step, we did another whole step. Now we need a half step. So if we're starting at C sharp, here we are, C sharp, we need to go a half step up, which is one note to the right. That's a D. Well, D natural, that's correct over on our scale, D. So let's cross off the half step interval. Now we have a whole step, so D, we need a whole step up from D. So we skip over the D sharp and the E flat and we land on E. Well, E is correct. So we don't have to alter anything yet. So cross it off. Boom. Well, now we're at E. We need to go up a whole step. So E, we have to skip F because that's only a half step. So we skip F, we end up on this black key. Well, we have a choice again. We have F sharp and G flat. Well, the next note in our scale has to be an F of some sort. So we have to do F sharp. So let's go back over here. We have our quarter note still selected. We have our sharp symbol still selected. You could tell because on the screen it has that as I'm moving it around. So to find our F, click right on top of it, and we've turned our F into an F sharp. Okay. So we need one more whole step in our pattern. So we're on F sharp, this black key. We need another whole step jump. So we have to jump over G, because F sharp to G is only a half step. We jump over that note, and we land on the next black key, which is A flat or G sharp. Well, you should know by now the pattern is we have a choice to make. It has to be a G of some sort because that's the next note in our scale, so G sharp. And then finally, we end with a half step. So a half step up from G sharp is an A, which is the very same note that we started out on. So A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. All right, so let's look at our next scale real quick. It is a E major scale. Oh, sorry, the next thing we have to do is we have to label this real quick. We have to select the text tool, and underneath it, label A major. All right, the next scale we're going to build is an E major scale. So we're going to do this, we're going to build it a little bit differently this time. We'll do all of the steps at once. So let me pull up my preview. Let's get rid of all these marks here. Okay. So we're starting on E because we're doing E major. So easy enough. So let's follow our pattern. We'll start building all these notes at once. So we need a whole step from E. A whole step up from E is F sharp or G flat. You have to make a decision here. But we know that it has to be an F of some sort because F comes after E. So our choice is F sharp or G flat. We're going to pick F sharp. Okay? Now F sharp, a whole step up is G sharp. So we need a half step up from G sharp, which is A. So we have to make sure we unclick the sharp sign to get just a regular A. Okay? So a whole step up from A is B. And then a whole step up from B is C sharp or D flat, but C comes after B, so we have to have a C sharp. A whole step up from C sharp right here is D sharp. And finally, we end with a half step up from D sharp, which is the last note of the scale or the same note that we started on, E. So beautifully done. So text tool again, you have to label it E major. Good, so I'm just going to finish this assignment up real quick. The next scale we have to build is an F major scale. So I'm going to do the way that I'm most comfortable with. We're going to go put all the notes we need. Now this is an interesting one. So let's check it. Whole half. F to G is a whole step. G to A is a whole step. Our next note is a half step. So if we go back to our piano real quick, a half step up from A is B flat or A sharp. Now it might seem like since we're going up, we should do A sharp because that raises it a half step, but we have to have a B of some sort because we already have an A. We have an A natural, so we need a B. So we have to if our choices are A sharp or B flat, and we need a B of some kind, well, it should be probably the B flat. So we select the flat symbol, click right on top of that B, B flat. So let's keep checking. B flat to C is a whole step, C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, and then E to F is that final half step. So we should label it then underneath with the text tool, F major, and I'm just going to power through this last one, which is an E flat major scale. There you go. That is what, let me do this. This is what your screen should look like when it is all said and done. 4 major scales with all the correct accidentals labeled correctly.